Pat Mahomes.
Bust. What would you have said if I bet you $100 at the end of the round robin and start of the playoffs that the Stars would be in the Stanley Cup playoffs or Stanley Cup finals?
I don't know.
Because
That was their best player.
So how do y'all feel about this?
Very impressed with how bad they're doing.
Donovan Mitchell, who right now looks to be a superstar.
Yeah, and as a Cowboys fan, I have learned how dangerously good Aaron Rodgers has been he can just thread a pass.
A lot worse than I thought. So, what do you think is going to happen in the game tonight,
I
Kevin?
don't know what to think.
They've won a game by 2 points, 3 points, and 1 point.
A very high number.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Before the season started, traded for Mookie Betts. What do you think about that trade, Austin?
If he can step up, that'll really help the Lakers in the future.
Just amazing, and I don't care what the Red Sox got for trading Mookie Betts and David Price. The Dodgers, in my opinion, win it. I don't have to see what players they gave up.
I think we should move on to the Yankees, But after that, everything just fell apart.
Hey guys, welcome back to our 9th episode of Outsider's Opinion. Hope you enjoyed the new intro, which is fire, just like my mixtape. This is our 5th episode on Spotify, so let us know if you would like us to expand to other platforms. Last episode, we talked about the winless and undefeated teams. Now, Austin and I will discuss the MLB playoffs. The first series we'll be starting with is, I think, a very close one, which is the Tampa Bay Rays versus the New York Yankees. What are your thoughts, Austin?
Game 1 is going to be huge. Game 1 is tomorrow, and it will determine the series. It's Garrett Cole versus Blake Snell. Garrett Cole was very close to winning his first Cy Young last season, and Blake Snell won the Cy Young 2 years ago. So this is a competition between two very, very, very great pitchers. The Yankees, I believe, have an edge for 2 reasons. One, they are now healthy and were predicted to be a very good team. And the second reason why I feel like they have the advantage is because the Yankees have been scoring so many runs as of late. In the series against the Cleveland Indians, they scored so many runs. It was not close. The last game obviously was close, where they won 10-9, but they won 12-3 and 10-9. They've scored 22 runs in 2 games, and even though the pitching for the Rays is very good, if the Yankees stay at this pace, I don't think there is a team out there that can stop them. But it's about the health of the team, if they can stay healthy as they have been in the playoffs so far, and if they can continue playing well in key at bats. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And this key pitch, the Tampa Bay has great pitching, and you saw the first 2 games, it's Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Charlie Morton. 3 great pitchers, and as we've talked before, pitching wins championships, but the Yankees signed Garrett Cole for this exact reason. He's their ace. You went out and got him in the offseason, and I think they can win Game 1 with Garrett Cole pitching greatly pitching amazing, and that will help limit the Tampa Bay, and then their offense can go. And then I can see them winning this series, but it's going to be very tough. And I would agree that Game 1 is very important. And I just believe their offense is going to kick it off, and I think they can win this and go to the World Series. But
so who do you have winning the series?
I would have the New York Yankees.
And how many?
It's out of 5, right? So I'll probably say 4. I think it's going to be very tough, and this is a divisional matchup just because that first 3 pitchers are really good.
Yeah, I agree. I had Yankees in 4. That doesn't mean that Tampa Bay is out of it, not even close. They were the best team in the AL during the regular season, and if they can continue that dominance, they definitely have a great chance. I believe that Blake Snell is not the same pitcher as he was in his Cy Young season, even though he's still outstanding. I think Tyler Glasnow is better. So I probably predict that the Yankees win game 1, 3, and 4, while Tyler Glasnow beats probably Tanaka is who's gonna pitch against, but he'll win that matchup in game 2. That's my prediction. But we can move on to Houston versus the Athletics.
Yeah, Houston, without their trash can, they, I believe, swept the team they beat. I
Yes,
can't
they
remember.
they swept the Twins.
Twins. My bad. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
This was one of the teams that we mentioned is World Series or bust. They're proving, even though they were a 6 seed, that they still have a very big veteran presence who knows how to win. Their pitching is still outstanding, even after they've lost Verlander and Cole. Um, I don't know what the Athletics do without Matt Chapman. He is their best player, and it's not really all that close. He, in my opinion, is probably the best third baseman in the league. Defensively, maybe second behind Nolan Arenado, and offensively, in my mind, he is the best or close to the best. And I don't know if the Athletics can muster enough runs uh, against this Houston pitching squad without Matt Chapman. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you hit it right on. Matt Chapman, he's one of the best defensive third basemen, and I think if he were playing, it's a whole different story. But you also did see the Athletics go and make a trade and get Mike Minor, and I think if Matt Chapman was still playing, I think Mike Minor would play exceptionally well, just because defense is a great infield defense, and especially a great third baseman can mask some hits from the pitchers may give up. And I think you're right. The Houston's pitching is just still dominant, even without Verlander, and they lost Cole. I believe Greinke won the pitch great last year as they made the trade for him, and I think they win this series probably in 3. And I just don't think the Athletics have enough pitchers to deal with that experience and the hitting from the Astros.
Yeah, I have Houston in 4 also. Yankees in 4, Houston in 4, but because I give the Athletics a game, but they struggled against the White Sox, who nobody anticipated to even make the playoffs. That's where I kind of they lost game 1 against that team, and obviously they turned it on to win the series. But I just don't trust that they can consistently come through in big moments. They don't have much playoff success of recent notes. They made the playoffs a couple times, but they've lost in wild card matchups consistently. And I don't know if they can, like I said, muster enough runs without Matt Chapman in the lineup against a Houston team who wants to prove that they can win without the aid of cheating.
Yeah, and just to add on, I I know they're division teams, but that's regular season when they face each other. This is the playoffs, and Houston has much more experience. No matter how they got there, they've had the experience, and I think that's what leads them to face the Yankees, which is, I believe, 2017 all over again for the Yankees and Astros.
We know what happened in 2017, and the Yankees want to prove that was the only reason why the Houston won. And I if we're gonna, I would take the Yankees in 6 in that series. Garrett Cole going against his old team, he knows what to expect from them. Uh, and I trust that the Yankees will continue to get this amount of runs, and that's when the pitching really comes through for Houston. That we need to see if they can continuously get big innings out of pitchers who haven't been had have not had the same amount of experience because of Verlander and Cole getting all the big starts. So yeah, I have the Yankees representing the AL this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'm very curious if Jose Altuve is going to rush to the dugout because his wife didn't want his shirt to get ruined, as he would
Yeah,
say.
we'll find out.
Yeah. I think now we can go to the National League and view, I think, which is going to be a very tough matchup, the LA Dodgers versus the San Diego Padres. We've talked about the LA Dodgers. They made that big trade for Mookie Betts, and this is why you have Mookie Betts. He's a great hitter, and combine that with Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, and just all the hitting the Dodgers have. But I think pitching comes into this, and this is why I give the LA Dodgers the edge. They have Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw. And the San Diego Padres, Mike Clevenger, the guy they made a huge trade for this offseason, is out for right now, and also with their second pitcher. What do you think, Austin?
Dinelson Lamet is one of the best pitchers in the league right now, and one of the most underrated pitchers in the league. He in his 12 starts, he's a 2.09 ERA, and has played exceptionally well. I don't know if this is another team, but I don't know if they can keep up how hot they are, especially against an LA Dodgers team where Kershaw's pitching well, Buehler's pitching well, and they have players behind them who can consistently get runs, and they receive a lot of run support. Those two players being out for them is a huge, huge issue for the Padres. They obviously have great players like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr., but they're young, inexperienced, and I don't think they can muster enough runs against an LA Dodgers team that wants to win their first ring since '88.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think if Padres have their top two pitchers, and they don't have to rely on their bullpen as we saw in the series against the Cardinals, then I give the Padres the edge. But you mentioned it, the pitching. I think Walker Buehler and Kershaw is great, and I think that's how they're going to start off their first two games. And I think that's going to shut down the San Diego Padres offense. And the Padres can't rely on a bullpen to face the Dodgers offense, which is just incredible right now. So I have them winning this series probably in 4. What about you?
Yeah, I think this series is still going to go 5. I think the Dodgers will start off 2-0 with Buehler and Kershaw starting, and then the Padres will try to get in, and they'll muster out 2 wins. But the Dodgers inevitably will close them out in Game 5 and move on to the NLCS for another run for a ring.
Yeah, and I think now we can go talk about who they would probably face. And the Atlanta Braves, I believe, snapped their. They hadn't won a playoff series for over 20 years until their win this year. And I have them beating the Miami Marlins. As I know their pitching may not be great, but their defense, in the outfield, you got Ronald Acuna Jr. You also have Ender Inciarte, who I think is a great player. And for hitting, they got Freddie Freeman. They also have Ronald Acuna Jr. And I also forgot to mention their shortstop, Dansby Swanson, and Ozzy Albies, who was a 2019 Gold Glove finalist at second base. So I think that kind of puts them over the edge against an inexperienced Miami Marlins team.
Yeah, I have the Marlins winning this series in 5. For 2 reasons. One is a not serious reason, being the Miami Marlins have never lost a playoff series, and in their existence, they have 2 rings in the 2 playoff appearances they've made. But that obviously has nothing to do with this. It's just a little bit of a joke. But another reason is the Marlins pitching can get it done. One of my favorite players in the league right now, his name is Sixto Sanchez. Sixto. There could not be a better name. It is so fun for me to say. I'm going to say Sixto for the rest of my life. But he's so good. And they have pitchers like this who've come out of nowhere, who people haven't expected them. He's a rookie this season. This is his first season pitching in the MLB. And they have consistent production out of these players. Most of their pitchers, actually every starting pitcher they have, besides one, has an under 3.61 ERA. their pitching, I think, outdoes the Braves, who did score the most runs this season. But I believe the Marlins can get it done, and with the resurgence of Jesus Aguilar and Starling Marte and many of these other players who many people didn't expect to be in this position in the first place, it really has proven to be a come out of nowhere story that I think will continue all the way to the NLCS.
Yeah, and this story this year started with the Marlins having 18 players test positive for COVID, so they had to like miss a week of games. And they've made it to the postseason, and they might be able to make it to the NLCS facing the Dodgers as we predict. Except I have Atlanta facing the Dodgers. I would probably agree Game 5, but I just have Atlanta winning.
Okay.
So we have AL Yankees versus Houston, and I think we can both agree Yankees win that.
Yeah. Like I said,
And
I have
then
Yankees in 6. I very much anticipate the Astros to put up a nice fight, but this is not their team from the past, and I think the Yankees will roll right through.
yeah, and then I would have the Yankees facing the LA Dodgers with what I think we would both agree with should have been the World Series matchup in 2017.
It should have been. It should have been. I'm going to take the Dodgers also. However, I think the Marlins will make this more of a series than some people think. I have Dodgers in 7. This gives me Brewers vibes, where Jesus Aguilar played against, was with the Brewers back then in 2018 when the last time the Dodgers uh, went to the World Series, and that series went 7, and the team, it was really impressive to see the Brewers make it all the way there and lose in a NLCS in 7. I think the Marlins will do the exact same, and it'll prove to be a big moment, but I don't know if they can really power through enough to beat a Dodgers team that I see as almost unstoppable, especially in the NL.
Yeah, and then that would lead. I'm Atlanta. I still have Dodgers winning. I'm probably saying 5, and then I think I'm gonna have the Dodgers win their first World Series since '88, as you mentioned, Austin. What about you? What are yours? And I would say I'm gonna say 7 games.
Um, I think wow, that would be a great series. Mookie Betts, who used to play with the Red Sox, obviously a tremendous rival with the Yankees, and he gets to continue that in the World Series that I believe will happen. As I foresee, it'll be interesting to see that series, and I can't wait if that's really what the World Series will turn out. As many people predicted before the World Series, I mean before the season began. I'll take Dodgers in 6. Because I don't know if the Yankees can keep up this run support, and I don't know if the Yankees have enough pitching in the bullpen. While they have the names, this season they did not get the production out of some players who I believe to be some of the best closers or relievers in the game, and they just couldn't do it. And if they can't do that against the Dodgers, if they cannot close them out, the series will be quick.
Yeah, and just if that really happens, if it's Dodgers versus Yankees, the Game 1 matchup is going to be amazing. Where you may have Kershaw versus Cole, which would just be amazing in my opinion. And then
Yeah, it'll probably be Bueller versus Cole, but it could be Kershaw depending on how they end the series versus who you think the Braves. I think the Marlins, but it'll be interesting. I highly anticipate these playoffs to be exciting, and we get back in action tomorrow.
yeah, so thank you for listening to our 9th episode. Please give us a like or follow on Spotify. Also, if you like some of our picks or think we are out of our minds, share our episodes with some of your friends to see if they agree or disagree with you. Also, be on the lookout for our 10th episode as we discuss how the Stanley Cup Finals ended and review the NHL draft and look ahead for NHL teams' futures.